Hello dear students, I hope all of you are keeping fine. I think today we can start with our chapter 2, that is population dynamics. So I will try to give you an introductory explanation of this population dynamic, this chapter 2. You please try to know about this one. All of you know the meaning of the word population. Population means that is the people of a country, people of the world. So the people are called population in geographical term. So population dynamics means what? That is the force, the people force, and this people force, this force is not a constant one. It's not the same one everywhere. It changes from place to place, and also it changes from time to time. So that is why the word dynamics is used here. So population force is not a constant one. It is not the same one all the time. So you know that as I told you, from place to place, the population of Asia is different, their force is different, their working activity is different, and from the other places like your North America and other Europe, Asia, etc., Europe, Africa, etc. places. So this population force is not the constant one. That is why once again I am telling you this word dynamics is used. So instead of telling it population force, we can tell this population dynamics, means they are changing, ever changing force of the people. So you know that as the more number of people are there would be more force. If there number of people are more but they are not of that much good quality, good educated people, then their working ability will be less. So looking at that one, this population of a country, population of a region will affect the activity of the region. So people of America are considered to be better, they are much in advance because these people have a different type of behavior, different type of culture, and their invention and discoveries are much more than the people of Asia and our Africa, etc. places. So this population, however, we will try to know about this population, how this population are different at different places, why they are having different numbers in different places. You can see a geographic fact given here. So out of every 100 people, 61 people live in Asia. Means if the total number of people in the world is 100, then 61 people live in Asia. That means maximum number of people live in Asia. So Asia is the largest continent in term of population. Then 12 people live in Europe, then 13 people live in Africa. So next 13 people live in Africa. That means this is more than the European countries. So next populated country is your Africa. Next populated country become Europe. So the third populated country is Europe. Next 8 people live in Central and South America, and 5 people live in North America, and 1 person live in Oceania. That is, Oceania means it's a group of islands in the Pacific Ocean that are together, Australia, New Zealand and Pacific Island, all this were together. What other islands are there together, they are called the Oceania. So in that places very few people live. What does that mean? So there out of 101 people, then out of millions there may be many number of many crores of people will be living there. So you try to know that population is not equally distributed everywhere. In your book it is written, in the northern hemisphere more number of people live, but in the southern hemisphere there are less number of people, because in the northern hemisphere the climate and temperature, land area, all these are available properly, and in the southern hemisphere mostly that is occupied by the water, and the only land, that is the Antarctica and Australia, that are Antarctica is not a good place for living. That's a frozen zone, and the place that Australia, some part of Australia is also desert area, and only little places available to live. So in the southern hemisphere very few people live, but in the northern hemisphere large area of land is available. The climate and temperature and all other required things for human living condition are available there. So that is why most of the people live there. And also from time to time the population of the region changes because they may immigrate and emigrate. Immigrate means coming in and emigrate means going out. So you can see people from one country, they can go out, that is called immigration, and people from other country come in, they are called immigration. So please try to know about this one carefully and try to learn about. Then because of the repeated migration of the people, movement of the people from place to place, the number of population also changes. And you can see here is a map given here, that is you can look at there, and this is distribution of population. How many people live in which part of the world, that are given in the map. So you can see the light one, the lightly colored one, light pink color, that you can see there are 0 to 25 people live in per square kilometer area. A little bit darker one, 25 to 75 people live. You can look at this this one. You can look at this particular coloring data, and here you can see there are about 500 to 700 people, and 700 to 1,500 people live in the darker area. 1,500 people to 1,500 people to 9,000 people live there in the darker area. That means what you can, where you can see the darker places. This is Bangladesh, and also you can see some of the places of Hong Kong or this one, and also some of the places this darker spots are given. So here in our India, it may be matching with this 300 to 500 people. Okay, like that way our India is also having a large number of population. The density of population is more. I think you can read all this one. These are all given in simple terms, and you can easily know about this one, and hope you can, if you study it properly, you can understand most of the thing. So the population density means what? That is the number of people living in a per unit area. Per unit area means per square kilometer area. How many people are living? That can be calculated by applying this formula. Population density is equal to number of people by the area. So suppose area is given 5 kilometer square, and people are 100 people. So 100 divided by 5, then it becomes 20 people per 1 square kilometer area. Like that way this population density is calculated. So you please try to read all this one, try to remember this formula, and also the densely populated regions of our world. There is a table given here. You can read it, name of the country, population in millions people, then percentage of world population in the country. So you can see the China is having the maximum number of people. So it is 1,300 million people. Okay, and that is about 20% of the total population. Next is your India, second highest populated country. So it is about 1,080 people, 1,080 million people. It's old data. It's more now. Then similarly in USA, Indonesia, all these data are given. You may read it, highest populated and the lowest populated country that are given. Only few number of them are there. You can read about all this one, and you can try to keep them in your memory. In the next video, we will try to know about the you please meanwhile you read about this moderately populated country, sparsely populated region. Sparsely populated region means less populated region. So there is also a table of sparsely populated region given here. You may please try to read it. Then in the next class we will be trying to discuss about the factors affecting the distribution of population. I think if you go through all this study, you will. If you study all this one, you can easily understand. Whichever you do not understand, please don't hesitate to ask me. You mark it aside and ask me in the classes whenever the school reopens. I hope you will do it. So all the best for your studies. Thank you. Thank you for listening.